Got a story for the Indian audience. We got, shout out, India. Lots of Indian people watching. Such an interesting marketplace, smartphone perspective. Lots happening. You know, when the Indian smartphone market gets brought up, it's often about budget. It's often about premium. No, not premium, sub-premium. Today, it's about premium. Because I'm always thinking like, okay, only one aspect of the market has the potential to grow, which is that mid-range, low-range, the premium smartphone market in North America and pretty much everywhere else, stagnant. Samsung says it's growing 20% in the premium smartphone segment in India. And a big part of that, Will, is the fact that the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus are going to be made in India. You see that? So you remember we talked in the past about the incentive structure for manufacturers to make their devices in India, the trouble Apple was having transitioning to that model, and the fact that even Apple will eventually bring their premium product manufacturing to India. Samsung has been doing it, and they're doubling down. And this new Note series, Note 10, Note 10 Plus, saw substantially more pre-orders than the Note 9 with the Made in India badge. So homegrown, made for that domestic market. Now, this is a very expensive phone in India. It's important to note. You're talking about, what, 70,000 rupees? Something like that? Like a lot of money relative to what the average person has to spend. Up to 90,000 RS, okay? So keep that in mind. Very expensive phone for that market, but still seeing growth there. And comparatively to, like, say, an Apple device, which isn't manufactured there, it actually comes in closer to the United States equivalent of what you would pay. It might even be actually less. What? Give me a quick one-to-one here. What is the top Note 10 Plus in USD in the American market? Because we just referenced the top-end Note 10 Plus in India is 90,000 RS, which is around $1,250 USD. I feel like it's going to actually be more in the US market. This article you're looking at is from the UK, Will. I see the pound symbol. I think all you got to do is go to Samsung.com maybe and see what the MSRP is. But if I recall correctly, I think you can spec a Note 10 Plus for actually more here than there.
Like 1,100 starting, right?
1,100 to start, yeah. So you can definitely go beyond 1,200. So anyway, what am I talking about? Why is this important? This is important because there's an incentive structure baked into that marketplace in India, which incentivizes manufacturing in India. And actually taxes or tariffs, it goes up to 1459.
I think this is
that's Canada. Okay, so it's very close. But anyway, incentivizes made in India and decentivizes, is that a word? And decentivizes imports. Okay, so full circle. Why is this important? This is important because we have so many talks going on currently about the China-US trade war. And we talk about companies like Samsung, companies like Apple, and so forth that are currently thinking about ways to diversify their production strategy away from China because there's going to be this somewhere between 10 and 30% added to the bottom line, potentially through this tariff structure. Now, if you have Indian manufacturing capable of outputting the most premium devices from brands like Samsung and Apple, and able to do so at a competitive rate with a Made in India badge, we are that much closer to potentially seeing Made in India as an export, which is not currently the case because the scale is not there yet.
Right.
So these Made in India smartphones are for that domestic market, but it's only a matter of time, Will. And the potential happens to be quite large right now that you might actually end up with a Made in India smartphone in your pocket, a guy like you.
Guy like me.
What a time to be alive. You never thought. I'm telling you, when I started this channel, I'm being honest, Made in China seemed like the only potential output. Like you just couldn't imagine an alternative. There's a lot of manpower there. It's possible. Now, it's not going to happen immediately. You know, transitioning these types of facilities and so forth, it's been painful even to get to this degree of manufacturing in that domestic market. But it's really interesting, and there will be some significant implications because of it. Made in India, Note 10, Note 10 Plus, premium stuff. And Apple, for their next model, rumored to also be manufacturing that one in India too. This is big news.
How soon do you think other companies will follow suit?
Well, for the domestic market, they almost all have. Vivo, Oppo, Xiaomi, Samsung, Apple, they almost all have. But as far as I know, as far as widespread exports, I don't think it exists yet. Maybe to a couple of countries in that region, it's possible. But as far as widespread export, not yet. That's the interesting piece to track at this point.
Right.
I'm curious about that.